Welcome to Through the Ruth, where we explore life inside the walls we call home and the lives we build within them. I'm Ruth, property professional, storyteller and lover of all things home. Each week, we'll open the door to real stories behind the scenes of the property industry, design, inspiration and practical tips for shifting house, creating calm spaces and keeping your home safe, secure and beautifully comfortable. Because whether you own, rent or simply dream, everyone deserves to feel at home. So make yourself at home. You're listening to Through the Ruth. Hello and welcome back to Through the Ruth. Let's be honest, most housing stress isn't about taps, tiles or tenancy agreements. It's about people. In Australia, around 31% of households rent, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. That's millions of landlord-tenant relationships happening right now. And yet the narrative we often hear is landlords are greedy or tenants are careless. It becomes us versus them. But what if that narrative is outdated? What if in reality both sides are navigating pressure just from different angles? Today we're unpacking what each side carries and how we shift from adversaries to alignment. And don't worry, I promise this won't feel like a tribunal hearing. We're keeping it human. Let's start with tenants. Renters in Australia are navigating competitive markets, application rejection stress, rent increases, moving costs, uncertainty at lease renewal. Housing affordability continues to be one of the most significant stresses for Australian households, consistently reported in wellbeing surveys conducted by the Australian Psychological Society. So when a tenant reacts strongly to a rent review or maintenance delay, it's often not about the single issue. It's about stability. Housing represents safety, and when safety feels threatened, even slightly, emotions rise. Helpful thought if you're a tenant listening. Before reacting, ask yourself, am I responding to this specific issue or to an accumulated stress? That one question alone can change tone, and tone changes outcomes. Now let's balance the lens. Landlords in Australia are dealing with rising interest rates, increased insurance premiums, ongoing compliance requirements, maintenance costs, legislative changes, and many landlords are not corporations. They're families trying to build retirement security. And when damage occurs or rent is late, it doesn't affect a business, it affects a household's budget. Helpful thought if you're a landlord. Am I viewing this tenant as a risk or as a person? Because how you frame that internally will shape every email you send. Here's what I see professionally. Tenants fear instability, landlords fear financial loss, fear on both sides, and fear creates defensiveness. When people feel defensive, communication becomes short, sharp, assumptive. Sometimes even passive aggression, and we all know that email tone that starts with, as previously advised. If you know, you know. But most conflict I see isn't malicious. It's misaligned expectations. Let's get practical. If you're a tenant, communicate early, not when you're already frustrated. Keep communication factual and calm. Understand maintenance categories, urgent versus routine. Keep records. It protects everyone. And remember, clear, respectful communication often gets quicker responses than emotional emails written at 10:47 p.m. We've all drafted those. We don't always need to send them though. If you're a landlord, explain decisions with context, not just the outcomes. There's nothing wrong with including the decisions with the tenants. Give reasonable notice and clarity. Understand that tenants are living their life in your asset. And here's a powerful mindset shift. A stable tenant is more valuable than a slightly higher weekly rent achieved through turnover. Stability protects both sides. Bit of professional insight. The best tenancies I manage share 3 traits: clear expectations from the beginning, consistent communication, and mutual respect. When respect exists, small issues stay small. When respect disappears, small issues escalate. And sometimes this is important. Both sides just need to be reminded we're all human. What if instead of landlord versus tenant, we thought landlord plus tenant equals shared stewardship? One provides housing, one cares for it daily. Both are contributing, both are exposed in different ways. If you've ever been a landlord who's panicked over a tiny scuff mark, breathe. If you've ever been a tenant who feared eviction because you asked about a dripping tap, also breathe. Most properties survive far worse than a scuff or a tap. Let's not treat minor issues like they're structural collapse. Perspective is powerful. Pause before escalating and ask, what outcome do I want? What tone will increase the chance of that outcome? Have I assumed intent? Then respond, not react. And if things feel heated, use professionals. That's literally what we're here for. Sometimes neutral mediation prevents months of resentment. A professional property manager should be the person that's able to jump in and take care of this for both sides, advocating for both sides. In a country where almost 1/3 of households rent, these relationships matter. They shape the stability, community, mental well-being, and housing works best when dignity leads. And dignity costs nothing. Through the Ruth has always been about the heart of home, and sometimes the heart of home isn't the walls. It's the way we treat people inside of them. Until next time, I look forward to speaking to you again. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow Through the Ruth wherever you get your podcasts. And if you've got a story about your home and your experiences, I would love to hear from you. You can reach out, ruth@thepmboutique.com.au. So until next time, take a deep breath, look around and remember, home is what you make it.